So a lot of things happened on the 3rd, yesterday. I'm recording this on 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to you, celebrating for all out there. But a lot of things happened yesterday. Very busy day before day off. And enough, the first Friday, 4th of July in a decade. So a lot of people are happy that worked out well for us. But for our 3rd, we had the passing of the Big Beautiful Bill, officially passed by Congress yesterday after a marathon speech by Hakeem Jeffries, breaking the record but not keeping the vote from being done. And so that's going to be signed today with the flyover. Also happening yesterday was a speech, a rally, a appearance in Iowa for Donald Trump, who was celebrating our 250th birthday, which is next year, with essentially 365 days of celebrations, things that will happen in the next upcoming year to celebrate America's 250, including a UFC fight that will happen on the grounds of the White House with 20,000 people standing by his big flagpole or something. That was said. We'll see if that happens. Something that actually happened that may have gotten missed in your news coverage, because I literally heard some little blurb about it this morning. I was like, wait, what? That happened? Is an executive order he signed. He signs lots of those. So that's why this may have been missed. This one signed yesterday directed the Interior Secretary to raise entrance fees for foreign tourists at U.S. national parks, while lowering costs and prioritizing access to American visitors. I.e., what the Big Beautiful Bill does for taxes, basically lowering some of the costs for taxes for higher earnings, but taking away some of the entitlement programs and money for those fundings for lower people, the poor people. It does that for them. So if you're not a native of this country, if you come in on a visa, come in on a tourist thing and want to say, hey, I want to see that Grand Canyon, it's going to cost you a couple bucks extra. Well, it cost me a couple bucks less. Sounds great? Let's go deeper. The White House expects the fee hike to generate hundreds of millions for conservation, backlog reductions, and infrastructure repairs. Economic models suggest potential revenue between $90 million and $2.1 billion annually. Supporters argue that foreign tourists don't pay U.S. taxes, so we don't benefit from them being here all the time. So why not help them pay for upkeep for parks, because they're going to pay an extra fee anyway. They point to international practices such as Chile and Ecuador charging more for tourists there and say this restores fairness and ensures sustainable funding. But there are opponents. There always are, definitely when it comes to the Trump administration. They warn that the surcharge could deter international tourism, disrupt park visitation, and hurt associated businesses. Implementation challenges will rise as well, as parks currently don't track visitors' nationality. They don't actually check your passport when you go to Mount Vernon. They don't check your passport when you walk through the Grand Canyon. When you want to see the Redwoods, they just say, hey, give us some money, go see the Redwoods. The fee charges will require updates to existing laws, which tend to be an issue for Mr. Trump, and the Federal Lands Recreation Enhancement Act. That means Congress may have to be involved. The move follows steep budget cuts to the parks. 1/3 of the park budgets are cut. 24% are fewer permanent staff on hand, and putting pressure on park operations. You may have remembered months ago all the people on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube talking about, I had a great, perfect job at a park and now I'm fired. We'll see what happens as there's less people to manage these parks. Less people to manage the parks, but I guess if you charge more people to show up, that should balance things out. Maybe. Advocates worry about fees replacing federal funding because that's not how fees work. Yet administrators and officials would argue this is necessary as a stopgap to preserve park services without further burdening taxpayers. The fee policy Trump is proposing pivots on the fairness and stability of things. Foreign visitors pay more for upkeep, so make them pay more for upkeep. It frees American taxpayers' dollars to do other things, upkeep of our roads and our sewer systems, while they're upkeeping our parks and our buffalo and our bison and the deer. It runs into political and other hurdles that are actually practical. Lately, I have to check your passport to see what I'm going to charge you to come into a park. It risks drop-offs in tourism, even if funding is not prepared for things going forward, just because the whole thing sounds a little off.